Hey everybody, welcome to Mahoning Matters interviews. I'm Chris Pugh, the editor of Mahoning Matters. World Health Day is coming up, and mental health has always been something that we've been interested here at Mahoning. And just wanted to talk to Chase Strader. He's got quite the story about how he's had a life-changing transformation. He now is the director of operations for the Canton, Akron, and Youngstown branch of First Hand Health, which is a mental health company that's helping people with serious mental illness in the Northeast Ohio area. Chase, thanks for coming on. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me. Excited to share today.
Yeah, fantastic. Chase, you kind of been through it all from what I see here. You had some addiction issues and with drugs and alcohol. You had some issues with mental health, and you were in prison for 3 years. And so, where have you come from? Talk about the life before you found some answers.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was actually raised in Ohio in a small town called Bucyrus, Ohio, about an
Yeah.
hour north of Columbus.
Mhm.
So growing up, normal childhood, everything was good, but I really had some serious mental illness issues that I never sought help for. That led into substance use disorder for me. Specifically, when I graduated high school, I moved to Florida, and that's where things really started taking a downhill. Really struggled heavily with depression, and I found myself filling that with substance use disorder, drugs, and alcohol. So that was a long, long road for me, about a
Yeah.
decade, 15 years worth of that for me, until the day where I made a decision that landed me in prison for 3.5 years. When I was in prison, I joined a cognitive behavior program. They call it Therapeutic Community in the state of Ohio. And I had a counselor, and he had something we called lived experience. So he was somebody that had multiple prison numbers himself, struggled with drugs and alcohol his whole life until he changed and was able to find a pathway to success. And he shared that with me. And up to that point, until I had that person in my life that's been through something that I've been through, it really opened up my mind and gave me hope to be able to change. So I went through the program in prison. It was about a 15-month program. After I graduated that, I started mentorship in prison with other men just like myself that were at the beginning of the program. So doing that work and being able to help them and them to help me in return really opened up my eyes to this for me is what I want to do with the rest of my life. This is really how I was able to find hope and to give back to others and in return help myself during this. So I got out of prison after 3.5 years and I got a job at a treatment center. And when I was there, I found what peer support specialist was. It's a certification from the state. So I took my classes in that and I started meeting with other men and women on a peer to peer level. I did that for about a year. And then I moved up to this area a couple of years ago. And I was researching, I was trying to find a job. Where would I work? What would I do? And I found this company called Firsthand. They had the mission and vision of what I had. They served the population that I truly had a passion for and loved and wanted to work with the rest of my life. And when I started here as a peer support specialist. So I was out in the community meeting with individuals that have lived experience with serious mental illness and physical illness. And I was able to give back. After doing that for a little while, I became a supervisor here at Firsthand, and I was able to lead one of the teams out in Cleveland, Ohio. And I was able to supervise other peer support specialists and just see the growth they had. And fortunate, I had the opportunity to become the director of community operations for Canton, Akron, and then Youngstown as of today. So it's been a struggle. It's been a lot of support from people like myself that have that lived experience, and that's really what I attest everything today to where I'm at in my life is from others giving back to me. So
Yeah, great. What don't we know about mental health? I think we've kind of understood a little bit more through what everyone's gone through with COVID and everything, but I still think there are things we just don't know about it. What do you think? Like, if you had the chance to talk to the world, for 5 minutes today, what would you tell them about mental health?
well, I'd say it's real. One, mental illness it does not discriminate. um, 70% of individuals that have serious mental illness are unconnected with resources in the community. And why or what are the barriers for that? Well, transportation is huge. it's amazing if I can have a doctor's appointment to go to a primary care physician, but if I don't have a way to get there, that's a huge barrier that I have to overcome. Food, housing, these are things, if I don't know where I'm going to sleep tonight or what the next meal I'm going to eat, it's really hard for me to focus on my mental illness when those things are priority in my life right now. So I'd want everyone to know we can't do this alone. This truly takes a community to support each other. We rely heavily on community partners like ourselves to be able to serve the individuals that we work with on a day-to-day basis.
I'm sure you've seen, mental health has so many effects on everybody. It's not just, somebody down their luck. It doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. It seems to affect a lot more people than we realize.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because maybe you were fortunate enough to have an upbringing that you were able to take advantage of going to the doctor and, being on medication and things like this. It does not discriminate. I think that's super important for everyone to know that it affects every family that I know out there. It truly does have an impact on them.
What advice would you give? So if somebody's listening to this, they might say, hey, I know I'm suffering for some things. I'm not sure how far I am. How do you kind of gauge what needs to be checked out? I mean, I know we all have tough days here and there. How do you self-regulate where you're at, like where you might need to go get help?
Yeah, well, I think the first and foremost, I think it's important to know you're not alone. Many of us go through that on a day-to-day basis, like myself, and I can't do this alone. And we rely on others like ourselves to be able to support us in that. So if you're interested in what is mental illness or where do I even begin, you can always check our website out at firsthandcares.com. If you're interested, if you're someone out there that has lived experience with mental illness or substance use disorder, and you're like, man, I want to give back, I'm not sure what to do. Well, this is a great company to get involved in and to see where you can get connected. Where can you support others going through the journey that you've been through? So I really believe it takes all of us working on this together to make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. Very good. Um, we're so if somebody needs some help or somebody wants to find more information, probably going to that website first would be the first good tip. They can reach out to you guys. You can kind of give them advice of where to go next on their journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So most of our offices are composed of the majority certified peer recovery specialists who have lived experience with mental illness and or substance use disorder. We also have a community resource guide, which is similar to a social worker to help with like applications and appointments and things like that. And we also have a nurse practitioner at our office that does a whole person assessment, sits there and spends the time to figure out what's going on. Where do you need support at? And it's not what we decide that someone needs, it's their self-perceived needs is where we really want to support them on their journey. And like I said, it really takes a full team to be able to do that, but we'd welcome anybody to check out the website and see where we can assist them on their journey.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have that link there. And again, you guys are based in Akron, Youngstown, and Canton. So a lot of ways to help out in the area. I'm assuming people could either do it remotely or in person, whatever works best.
Yeah, the best is to call us, set up an appointment, see what needs you might have, and we'll connect you somewhere. We'll connect you to somebody that's will be able to support you. We serve in Mahoning and Trumbull County and
Okay.
Youngstown. So that's where the majority of the folks we work with in Youngstown are located at.
Cool. Very good. Well, Chase Strader, thank you so much for your time. Again, firsthandcares.com. That's where you can find more information about the company. And like I said, it's a serious matter. And, you always want to take care of yourself. And if you're thinking that something might be going on, maybe it's time to at least check out the website and have a conversation and really judge where you're at and let First Hand help you out. So thanks for your time, Chase. Hang out here for a second afterwards, and we appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, Chris.